Namaste to all. This video I will be talking about time and how my predictions of the future could possibly be wrong, or it could possibly be right, but only for me because everyone is different. I have a key up here that shows the different colors. Different God means my true self or my higher self, my intuition. Black is the ego. Red is the multiverse. And then we got violet, which is the collective consciousness of everyone. And the ego and the true self is technically just a subcategory of the collective. We'll begin with the main line, which is the gold line that I wrote, which is the true self or the intuition of what path that I should be taking. And each of these circles, so there's 3 of them right here, but each of them is a decision or event. They could be anything really, so anything that makes me decide to do this over that. And that could change where I end up in this line drastically. But I could also move back into the true self portion of events easily by just following what my true self wants me to do. Whether my predictions will come true or not about what I've seen in the future, and it could very well be that like my particular path, which is probably the true self path, is the path that I'm going to go down, and I'll be seeing the futures that I've seen. Now, I am thinking this would be the case with the quantum atom. The begin point of a quantum atom, or whatever, is there's always the begin point and the end points are always the same. Yet how it gets to the end point can vary. And so that's why I'm showing different lines, whatever happens. So each of, I have circled here, each of these little circles are a decision or event. It could be me turning my head left or turning my head right. And each of them will diverge into a different pathway. And I mean, this is a very simplified version of how time works, because I'll be explaining each of the things, each of the colors I have up here. But no matter what, they all tie into infinity. That's where they are all going. And because we're so low in density, so let's look at water. So water has a solid, liquid, and gas. Well, humans can also have this. So right now we're very dense. So humans are right now a solid, more or less. And as we're traveling closer and closer to the infinity, we'll get a liquid form or liquid state, and even into a steam state. And each of these are less and less dense through the. So we're all the atoms. Now, as we travel, as we grow as a species, we're gonna get less and less dense. It's just more, the atoms are moving so quickly that they can form into like a liquid, or this is a metaphor though. This is so they can be less solid than they were when they were the ice. So this is like fourth dimension, and this is like fifth. I forgot to add that. And right now we're in third. So as we move to each dimension, I mean not dimension, each density, we're going to get lighter and lighter, and eventually get to the infinity or the singularity. And all of these will tie into that. So where was I? Talking about time and how it's hard to predict a particular future, and how with the quantum mechanics that the atom or quantum particle can begin at point A and end at point like Z, but go through different pathways to get to point Z, but the Z point will always be the same. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's say I don't follow my true self, which is the correct path. I follow the ego, which is a less ideal path, a harder path in a way. Now, I could somehow kill myself, in which case that kind of ends, but all of them eventually lead to the infinity. I could be on a completely different path, live out my life fully, but never reach the futures that I've seen. And again, it would get into the infinity. Now, an additional part of this would be how the collective moves, because I'm technically part of a collective consciousness. We are all part of a collective consciousness. And because of that, there are millions of thousands of people or whatever in that collective consciousness. And every one of them has as much creative power to change the world as I do. And so they can change it, and we could be on a completely different path once again. And again, we could get to a different future. Now, a example I have for this is the what was it? The prophecies of Nostradamus. Now he made he talked about instead of like Hitler being the main bad guy in World War II, it would be like Hitler or something, and you can see how there is a difference, and that is probably because of the collective. And we also have the multiverse. Now the multiverse is just parallel universes traveling alongside ours that we can split into, and that's where we get the Mandela effect from. And like we all know, like the Bornstein and the Bornstein Bears books, at least I know them. I don't know if you know them. We got the Jiffy peanut butter over the Jif peanut butter. There's multiple Mandela effects that have been going on throughout the entirety of human history, and that is because of the multiverse, parallel universes, and whatever. And so I could easily stray down one of those paths and get to a completely different future. Any one of these lines can get to a different one of the futures. So I'm just in a way trying to explain that my predictions, they may be 100% correct for me, but they might not be 100% correct for you guys, because everything in the world, every animal, every rock, every fish in the sea, like everything causes a chain reaction in some way or form that will lead everyone down something else. That's why they talk about the butterfly effect. The that if you kill a butterfly, drastic things can happen in the future. But remember, time is an illusion. All of these are chain reactions, which is why I have the brain cell and the universe, these two things up. Because all of these are just chain reactions, and they're like, I'm pretty sure like all these chains are like what we consider divinity or whatnot. The divinity is basically trying to understand the like limitless potential of the universe. And because of the quantum atom, which is, quantum particle, I don't care what it's called, but because of that, we can do that. Single atom can be everything and nothing at once, and it can be in the past, present, or future all at once. And that is why that is why time is an illusion, because all these events are happening all together all at once. So that's the prediction video. That's why it's hard to do a precise prediction. Now, we have this over here, which, yeah, all this is interesting and fun to draw out, but my thinking is more on, well, there is a fifth line. I didn't draw the fifth line because it's basically all of this incorporated into one, and that is the idea of time travel. And that would mean people can, like, everything that time travel entails can happen. Now, I don't think, like, there will be a paradox if you meet yourself at the same time. I don't think that would happen, which would cause, like, the universe to explode or something. I don't think that's possible, because there's infinite possibilities. But what I'm interested in is, so the very fact that we have an atom that can be everywhere and everything and be both past, present, and future at least to me, it means that all of this stems from the very thing of time. All of this stems from time. Now, what initially set me on the path, well, not path, but set me on this complicated thing is through my dreams. Now, at one point for me, there was no connection between dreams and time travel or time in general, but for some reason I somehow made the connection that dreams are time and that dreams are like your spiritual self. I don't know when, I think that was like maybe 2017 that I made that connection. And for me now it's like obvious, but at the time it wasn't something I thought about, I guess. And looking back at like multiple of my dreams, I've seen myself actually die multiple times, as gruesome as that may be. Um, I mean, I saw myself shot in the head. Uh, I've been stabbed, suffocated. I mean, all these events have happened in my dreams, and in a way, I think these like that's why I ended up making lines that go to axes, because those are possibly like dead end pathways that I could possibly take or something. Or these dreams are dreams that have happened to um like my other selves, because so everything we're all infinite. So we have infinite bodies, but we have a single like main body or main consciousness. I don't know how it works. Uh, I mean, I'm sure if I looked into stuff a bit further and I could figure that out. But every time one of your other bodies like dies off, they that consciousness goes into the main consciousness or the main body. It's just a theory. It's speculation, so I don't know if it's actually true. But all of this is so. If everything is a dream, everything is uh, like the time is an illusion thing. Then at some point there wasn't a quantum particle or quantum atom that could do everything that we are experiencing. And that would be, I think, what sparked the whole idea of, well, not the whole idea, but like our universe is the quantum particle. That's what started it. So that's what started this. But like this is all speculation again. So it's trying to describe a very complex idea into words. And although I can somewhat understand it because I thought it up, it's still very hard to explain to you guys. So with the quantum particle causing infinity, we, to me, at some point there must have been a point in the past, way far in the past, a point in the very past, where there was a world or species or planet or whatever that lived without time. So they lived in a world without this quantum particle. And that would mean there would possibly be no type of energy in this world as we know it. Everything would be physical, everything would be like binary, which is either ones or zeros. So everything in this world could be one or the other. But at some point, people in that world created the quantum particle. And at least those who created the quantum particle would instantly get into this web of infinity. They would know everything all at once. Like the whole quantum particle thing is the thing that makes up our world. So it's a huge leap, I guess, for this person, and they are technically like the primordial god or whatever that like started off our world. Now again, this is speculation. I'm not saying like this is a god or something, or like something higher, but the idea of infinity makes every one of us a god at some point, because that's where we're all headed to. There is another line of thinking here that there could be a world without time, but with the quantum particle, but they never thought about the quantum particle until someone decided they wanted to time travel. And the moment they wanted to time travel, it would go straight into the multiverse. Because the moment they decide that they want to time travel, they would create infinite possibilities. And so, okay, so in this one down here, they're still going forward in time, but in a physical way. In this one, they they figured out at some point someone thought, I want to go back in time, and at that point, the quantum particle like leapt into action and caused all this. Because it can be both past, future, present, everywhere, all at once. And so we have two different worlds that could possibly be happening. But only in this one, like if everything was binary and physical, would they be traveling along a completely separate path than what we're doing. They are still physical, and they are still just moving in a straight line, where time is actually a thing for them. And I don't know. For me, it's just, this is a lot more interesting to think about than all this. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just done thinking about this, because it's like I understand it, and I want to understand what I don't understand. So that is the end of this video. It's very complicated. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And if you want to see what the future has to offer, I will continue doing prediction videos and so forth. That will be the end of the video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.